Hi, I'm Caryn Desai. I'm the artistic director and producer of International City Theater, opening our 37th season in February. And if you would like to hear more about the season and the work we do, please stay tuned. Why is the theater experience so unique for the audience and the actors? Because unlike movies, it's live, it's human connection, it's an opportunity to share and grow and learn and laugh and cry together. And we need that shared human connection more than ever right now, I think, and I think theater can really help with that, safely done with hope and healing, which we all need right now. How did the connection with Long Beach and International City Theater started? Because the founder, my husband, Shashim Desai, was the head of theater, dance, and film at Long Beach City College and wanted to create a professional theater on campus so that students could work backstage or whatever, an intern, but also have a place to return once they do their training and to continue to grow in their careers. And Long Beach, is a pretty large city and didn't have like a resident professional theater company, which we were named in 1999 by the city council. And also Long Beach was known as the International City. So that's where the name came from also. So a strong connection with education and with theater, of course. Why is an ICT theater experience so unique? I think one, there's not another professional, legitimate theater in the city, but it's also intimate at the same time. And also the kind of programming we do is diverse and, it's maybe a play you never heard of or a writer you never heard of. So our subscribers and our patrons tend to be more adventurous, more educated, and appreciate being exposed and introduced to new ideas and new concepts and new thoughts. The stage itself is unique in the shape. It's a partial thrust stage. So the audience partially surrounds the stage. It's not theater in the round, but they surround. So that helps create that intimacy as well for both the actors and the audience. The mission statement for International City Theater is to entertain, educate, inspire, and provoke thoughtful dialogue through live professional theater. Let me tell you about our 37th season for 2022. It's a season of comedy and contemplation. We're going to open with the songs of Stephen Sondheim, Marry Me a Little. Little did I know that he would pass away while I was choosing that, but it's a wonderful way to open and pay tribute to the man who made such an impact on musical theater in our lifetime. And then after that, we're doing A Doll's House Part 2 by Lucas Nath, who's quite a hot writer right now, and you don't need to know the original by Ibsen that was written in the late 1800s to understand Part 2. In fact, Part 1, well, the original A Doll's House by Ibsen was quite shocking at the time, and the play was banned. So it's an interesting take on what happens next. Then after that, we have for the summer a fun play, The Legend of Georgia McBride by Matthew Lopez. And this is the story of a young man who's an Elvis impersonator, is how he earns his living at this seedy bar, and finds out his wife is expecting their first child and the landlord wants his rent. And then he finds out the owner of the seedy bar is firing him because he wants to open a drag show. So this young man, Casey, is about to embark on a new adventure. Then after that, we have a wonderful play, Valley Song by Fugard. This was his first play after apartheid. The Wall Street Journal said that this play is what theater should be. So It's quite a beautiful play about generations coming together, the grandfather and who's raised the granddaughter and works the land, and she has dreams for her future, and he has the pain of trying to let go of the past and bringing that together. And then we're going to end the season with a fun comedy, Ken Ludwig's Lend Me a Tenor, which we had slated to do in 2020 before the world shut down. And hopefully we'll get to do that. I mean, it's a very fun, physical, farcical comedy. Let me tell you a little more about each one. Marry Me a Little, the songs of Stephen Sondheim. I was looking for a small show, and I wanted something, I wanted music, a great fun way to start a season. And I also wanted something small because I had no idea where we might be with COVID and the pandemic. And I'm glad I chose something small because we're not back to any kind of, normalcy yet. But, the surge seems to be on the decline. So I'm hoping by the time we open in February that people will be a lot more confident in returning to the theater. And we're doing all the precautions necessary, vaccinations, IDs, and masks. So they should feel safe. And all artists and staff are vaccinated and boosted, to tell you the truth. Marry Me a Little is about two lonely single people who aren't aware of each other, but and the whole thing is sung through. And the songs just capture, what they're going through and how they're feeling. And I guess we can all relate who hasn't been lonely at some point in their life. And Stephen Sondheim is like so wonderful in how he puts words together in his music, and it just makes us think and grow. So that starts the season. And then our second show of our 37th season is A Doll's House Part 2. And it's a wonderful look at Nora, who, and the original play is from Henrik Ibsen, Norwegian writer who was writing in the late 1800s. And the interesting thing is that he was writing about women's role in society. And this is before women had the right to vote, and when you think about the late 1800s and that a man was that sensitive to what, a woman's role in society, that, you can understand why it was so shocking for that time period, and why at that time, of course, men banned that play because Nora walks out from her husband and her children, which is hard to understand as a mother also, but it was the time period, and she was trapped. So it was the only choice she had if she wanted to expand her view of her own life. And what Lucas Knapp has done was she returns, and the play, she's, the housekeeper, the husband, and the daughter. There's different scenes that she has with each one, and they all have something they need. So it's an interesting look at his take on who she became, and how, and what that meant when she goes back to, not that she wants to reunite, she's quite the woman's liver. So interesting look at that. And you don't need to know the Ibsen play to understand this one. Then for our summer fun show for June is The Legend of Georgia McBride. And that's the story of a young man, Casey, who earns his living as an Elvis impersonator. And he finds out his wife is expecting their first child, and the landlord wants his rent. And this seedy bar where he's been working, the owner is firing him because he wants to open a drag show. And this is Casey's eye-opener, new adventure into what that means. So including the drag show. So it's a fun show. Then a really beautiful play that the Wall Street Journal said this play is what theater should be. Valley Song by Fugard. It's his first play after apartheid. It's a story of a grandfather and a granddaughter. It's generational, and he's been raising her and working the land and still has that mentality because now it's post-apartheid and that servitude, and he has a hard time to let go of the past. And at the same time, here's this granddaughter who wants to go beyond this, who wants to explore and follow her dreams. And she loves to sing and wants to go to the city. And he has fears, of course. So it's a really beautiful coming of age and coming together of generations. It's a beautiful play. Then we're going to end the season on a really fun note. Ken Ludwig's Lend Me a Tenor. It's a classic comedy, Tony nominated, and it's fun. It's a farce, it's a physical comedy, and it's a play that we were going to do in 2020, really in honor of one of our longtime philanthropists who's no longer with us, but it was a play that we did many years ago, and it was one that he really liked, and so his family is still supporting International City Theater, and that's one way to thank them and pay tribute to their dad, who was an amazing supporter and made it possible when we moved off the campus of Long Beach City College to downtown into the Performing Arts Center and now the Beverly O'Neill Theater. He made that move. He helped make that move possible because we were moving from a 99-seat theater to equity contracts, full equity contracts. And that was a big difference to our financial picture, and also a big investment, not only in the artist and the art form, and growing into a, truly professional regional theater company. What I want the audience to get out of the season is what I always want them to get, because I believe theater's role is to educate and can also create a more harmonious society. And so I want them to be entertained, of course. I want them to have fun, but I want them to think, and I want them to reflect, because that's what theater does. It not only, it's maybe sometimes makes you question your judgment, maybe introduces you to someone who's very different, and how eye-opening that is to our shared humanity and how much we are so much alike from different cultures and different countries. It really speaks to our shared humanity. Let me see, what am I looking for when I watch the plays? Well, when I'm first there and in tech and all, of course, I'm looking at what's not working. And even as a director, I'm always looking at what's not working, because quality work is very important to me, and to International City Theater, because, if you're going to do it right. But once that's passed, and once I'm happy with the production, and then the audiences are coming, then I am engaged in the story myself as an audience member, no matter how many times I watch it, but also enjoying the response of the audience, and also enjoying their comments, maybe to me after at intermission, or what their perceptions are, and what it makes them think about. And so that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about how theater can help provoke thoughtful dialogue. And it's exciting to me to hear that, and then some of the programs where we're bringing in youth and what they have to say. A young person who came to the theater, because so many of them have not been introduced, and that's one of our programs that we really try to introduce young people to professional theater. They don't know what it is unless they have that experience, and to hear someone say, wow, this is better than the movies, I hope I can see more plays, is rewarding. We've gotten through, we've had them put their phones down and just have this human experience. And I think it's so important, because when I look back, when I was growing up, and it was, in a dangerous city, and we didn't have much money, and I certainly, a big family, didn't have the opportunity to be, for the arts at home. But I mean, I would be in the corner drawing or writing, but no support at home. But I was just lucky that I grew up in a time when there was arts in the schools. So and I know what a difference that made in my life. And not because I'm an artist or working in the field. I just know what that does, and how important it is to have young people, on many levels, have young people introduced to theater, because the older generations that are going to the theater now, it's because they were introduced to theater when they were younger, and some of them before television, so it's really important for this most human art form, because storytelling has been a part of our culture since life began. I think humanity began, the importance of sharing and telling stories. And that began with cave drawings, right? Why does the greater Southern California community need to attend ICT? Because one, it's a continued investment in this art form. It's a continued investment in making sure this professional regional theater continues, and it's an investment in yourself as you open your hearts and minds to other ideas or maybe new ways of thinking. The importance of theater subscribers versus a single ticket buyer makes a huge difference for any professional theater company or any theater company, because subscribers provide a base of support for a whole season. So I can take risks with bringing new ideas or new experiences to the community, to our audiences. Without that, if you had to depend on every show to be a major hit, it would be dumbing down theater, and it would be commercializing it, and it won't be serving society truly for what theater can do as far as educating and bringing diverse people together for better understanding. Theater companies like ICT need the community's help and support, because that's the only way we can survive. It's not just ticket sales, it's also how grateful we are to people who can afford to go beyond that and make a donation. But truly, theater is between actor and audience. So it's the audiences that make it rewarding for everyone. Theaters can't survive by ticket sales alone. So theaters, have to do fundraiser, annual fund drives, or whatever other ways that they can to seek support from their donors and the community. So, our annual fundraiser is called Encore, and at that event, and we're looking tentatively at October 12th, 2022, to hold that event this year. We recognize several leaders in the community who have made a difference, who support arts and education and ICT. And at that event, it's usually it's been an auction, silent and live, and dinner, and a nice dinner, not a chicken dinner, and entertainment. And last year we did our fundraiser, but in 2020 we did not. So, and that was because of COVID, and there was no way we felt safe in creating a live event like that, because we really didn't open live performances until August 2021. So we did 3 virtual productions in 21 before we could do the final 2 shows live. And although the costs are similar for virtual productions, for all the personnel and labor and the editing and, streaming rights, etc., the income is not, because earned revenue, for virtual productions is not very much at all, because it's it's per household and a reduced price ticket. So, but I'm grateful that I was able to produce 5 shows for my audiences, because it's important for us to be serving our community, and we need that. And we were recognized by quite a few nominations and awards too. So that's nice. And if people want to support our work, they can go online to www.ictlongbeach.org, ictlongbeach.org, or they can call us even 562-436-4610, 562-436-4610. That's also the number for the box office, so you can buy tickets or make a donation. Whatever you can do is always deeply appreciated. How does art and theater help a person and the community? I think that's the heart of what theater does, because as I said, theater, helps educate and create a more harmonious society. So that's helping the community. It also brings a community together for shared experiences and better understanding of our shared humanity. And it helps individually because it opens our eyes and makes us think about other people or other things or other, lots of times how it affects our lives, or how it affects maybe judgments we've made or thoughts we've had, or how it gives us another way to look at things and a better way to help ourselves grow as well. I'm Caryn Desai. I'm the artistic director and producer of International City Theater, about to open our 37th anniversary season. And I hope you'll join us by purchasing a subscription or a ticket or making a donation. And you can do that by going to our website at ictlongbeach.org, or by calling our box office at 562-436-4610. And I will so look forward to seeing you at ICT in 2022. Thank you.